I've just been in prayer with God, and I was talking to him about gratitude. I was talking to him a lot more things, not just gratitude, but what I want to mention in this particular video is gratitude. I was looking at the things I have as I was, praying, and I realized that what's the word? I realized as I've been going through my clothing, I've got rid of 90%, about 85 or 90% of my polyester clothing that I wear on a regular basis, basically. My gowns and stuff like that, they're packed up. So to me, I guess they don't really count, but I got rid of like 2 trash bags worth of clothing. I mean, I gave them to my mom, and I donated some. Actually, may have been 3. Well, some of the clothes also didn't fit me anymore. I've put on a lot of weight over the last 6 years. I've put on a lot of weight, but that's not what this video is about. So, gratitude. So I said, God, I want to be grateful. I want to have gratitude. And it's like, I want to feel. That's the thing. We want to feel grateful. Not just be grateful, feel grateful. So in doing that, I was considering the clothing I have. My nicer clothing is polyester. Okay? The ones that look nice. They're polyester. My linen, my skirts that are a cotton linen blend, they're okay looking, but they don't have this, very prettiness to them, I guess. This, they don't have the same quality, I guess. They don't look formal. They're not something you would wear to something that's formal, I guess. Maybe that's the best way I could describe it. And they're not that vibrant in color, whereas my polyester skirts and dresses are. And so as I'm looking at my stuff, I was considering how I would really like to. So at the beginning of it, I looked at them. Before I thought the word gratitude, I was thinking about how I really want to change my wardrobe. I want to continue with that. So right now I'm unemployed. So once I get a job, it's not once I get a job, eventually after I get a job, okay? Because this is not a high priority to me. I have gowns or dresses. I have dresses I can wear. I have some nice clothing. There are a couple things that eventually I want to get. Eventually. There's other things that are still priority. But it was going through my mind that I want to get some other clothing that is, nice, that's not polyester. But right now, I want to be grateful for what I have. I want to be grateful. My mind went on to other things within that same gratitude. So, I need to stop drinking coffee. I belch. Oh my goodness. I am I am belchy. Full of air. I'm full of air. Error? Well, I guess I'm full of error as well. But okay. Trying to stay on track. Oh, no wonder we say train of thought. Stay on track. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I love how the light is shining through. It's really nice. Look at that. That's the sun. That's because it's early morning. That's the sunrise. Alright, so my plants, they look unhappy. We've been very unhappy for a while. I've been neglectful. I'm working on it. I'm getting better with it. I'm tending to them more. They have survived, and that is a gift from God. My friend said, that's because they knew you needed it. God knew I needed it. I needed them to survive, and I guess so. Back to gratitude, right? So, thankfulness and gratitude, I do believe they go together. So for me, in the moment of gratitude, thinking, all right, I want to be grateful. I want to feel that feeling of gratefulness. Not just, right? That's what you want to feel grateful. Everything is not just about feelings. we want to feel things, but things are more than just a feeling. It's an action. So we want feelings because we think feelings produce actions. It's not always the case. And with gratitude, okay, I'm thankful for what I have. So I said, I want to be thankful. And then I started thinking about the furniture. I said, thank you for the clothing I do have, Lord. And I said, thank you for, the new things I have and the old things I have. Thank you for the things that are worn out in my life, like my clothing and some of the furnishings I have. And then I talked about the furnishings in my storage unit, right? And then I realized, I was like, the word my. I was like, no, it's not my storage unit. This isn't my home. These aren't my. They're not, right? What is my? They are my responsibility. I am responsible for that storage unit. I am responsible for this home. I am responsible for it. So that is what my is, not possession or ownership. Okay? Yes. Yes. Like, seriously, I'm getting that more and more. As I'm talking about it, I'm getting it more and more. Like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. So we are held, so we hold ourselves accountable. And I think accountability is on our part. Responsibility is one day I'll go back into that and really study that more. Like ownership, responsibility, and accountability, the way that they are. But, so, yeah. All right. Back on track. I love saying that. Because I always love to say, oh, there goes my train of thought down the track, so I'm going to go catch it. Or, come back! Get back here! So, I like saying that. So, yeah. So, with gratitude or gratefulness, so thankfulness, responsibility. Like, I don't own these things, but I am responsible for them. So I'm thankful for the things I have, and I wish to be more thankful for the things I have. I desire that. I need to not use the word wish. My mother, she was like, don't use the word wish. Don't wish for things. There was a reason. There was like a wisdom why she was saying don't wish. So, with that being said, I want to desire to, I have an oil treatment in my hair. I need to wash it out. So, it's flax oil. Flaxseed oil. So, you're like, where do you get that? It's with the cooking oil. I actually like it on my skin. Oh my goodness, when I put it on my skin, it feels like velvet. All right, back to gratefulness and gratitude and thankfulness and responsibility. Oh goodness, excuse me. Stewardship. I think that's another word for it. It's like stewardship. So we are supposed to be good stewards of what we have. What does that look like? What does that mean? When you tell your child that, they don't understand what stewardship is. A little kid doesn't know what that word is. So always thinking about that. That's something to think about. How would you break that down to a child? Honestly, when you don't know what something is, that may be how you have to consider explaining something. You never know, by looking at a person, you never know if they have autism. You never know if they have anything going on up here, a delay, comprehension delay. You never know. And that explains a lot, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. I think I'm wrapping this up. My brain is still processing all of this. And I was like, I want to share. I'm like, God, I want to share this with them. I want to share. So, you know what? Holy Spirit, help me wrap this up. If there's any points that I've missed, just help me wrap this up. I'll be right back. Okay. So at the beginning of my prayer, when I was approaching God, I started saying, dear Heavenly Father, dear Abba, my Abba, and I said, God, I feel basically, it's an accusing thought that says, stop being fake. You're being fake. And it's not from God, because God's not telling me that I'm being fake. I don't hear that from him. But I feel it in the posture of my heart going, I long for that authenticity, that genuineness. I don't know the word I'm looking for. But basically being open, honest, and but being able to connect. That's the thing. I want to connect. I don't just want to be in prayer. I want to connect in prayer. So, all right. So as I was doing that, I was saying, Lord, I want to come to you. And I want to do it reverently, not in fear. That is something else I remember when it comes to being told about being a good steward of the things you have. Well, fear, a lot of times, fear, anxiety, those expectations that are put on you to make sure you take care of your home, and don't even get me started with spiritual warfare. I'm just going to say that's a real thing. And people don't realize what spiritual warfare looks like, because I think there's different levels to that, like different depths, something. And I want to be able to one day go into that, but I'm not doing that with this video. What I want to say is, when growing up, and even in my adult life, to hear my mother say, God says you need to be a good steward of the things you have. Yes, I agree with that. But there's an expectation put there of fear. Fear, not surrender, not reverence. So I desire to have nice things. Why? I love asking the questions. Why? Who? What? Where? When? How? Wait, what? So I love asking the questions, and I'm going to continue doing that. But that's where it started. Me wanting to be reverent and connected. That's what it is. I long for that connection with God, a deeper connection with God. And I don't want to be all ritualistic about it, okay? But I love the rituals. That's the thing. I love it. Oh my goodness, do I love it. So to me, rituals are not supposed to be this, I don't know, there's something, it's like a wedding ceremony. When you have a wedding ceremony and you're taking your vows, and there's a ritual to it, but it's something so much more, because you feel it, you absorb it, you experience it. It is moment to moment. You are present in it, and you're like, yeah, moment to moment. And when we lose that, so imagine, you're going through all this, and you're going through, like, you have all this, like, the repetition and stuff like that, routine, repetition, you lose. I guess it's because you become like autopilot with things. So that even goes back to being gratitude, having gratitude, being grateful, being thankful. It's, I'm getting a lot more out of this. I'm learning as I go. That happens a lot, actually. I learn as I go. And, yeah. Wow. Just wow. All right. I'm wrapping this up. I'm done. 15 minutes into this movie. Oh, yes, I hope you enjoyed the movie, the film. So, the movie of my life, broken down into several videos. Oh, Lord. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, okay, great. If not, that's fine too. If you want to comment. That's up to you. But, I'm gonna go finish my coffee. It's probably cold by now. Or worse, it's lukewarm. Ugh. That's a pun because okay, well, you don't know. If you don't know me, you don't know. About a week ago, within the last week and a half or something like that, I discovered, actually, it was over a week ago. It was over a week ago. So within the last 2 weeks, but over a week ago, I found out that I have been living a lukewarm life. So that means a lukewarm Christian, but lukewarm living. It's more than just my connection with God, but my connection with God always pours out into my life. Okay? So that love of God pours out through me. So finding that devotion again, that's something to me. I want to wrap this up. Anyway, I'm learning how to be devoted and faithful and not be lukewarm, not live lukewarm. Okay? I don't want to live lukewarm. I don't want to be that anymore. I want my relationship with God to grow. And I don't want anybody taking that place in my life again, because I've had those idols. I have. There's a people pleaser in my life. Yeah, God has been with me through and through. I'm his daughter. He claimed me at a very young age. He said, "You're my little girl." Okay? When your dad left, you became my little girl. Whoa. I was like, whoa. Whoa. I always have those moments. I still have those moments. Whoa. Because